Hi there, this is Roger Pascal and Doug Toon. We are here tonight talk about our inner circle, your inner circle, our inner circle. We're with Impact Real Estate Training. Doug Toon, him and his wife Renee, they have the Impact Group in Longview, Texas, and I'm excited to have you on here tonight, Doug.
Doing good. How are you?
We're doing good. We're okay. Everything, we're making it. We're making it. We have our wintertime challenges because I know that Doug and Renee are in the same position that Linda Jean and I are. We're taking care of parents, so so we have sometimes we have our challenges with that this time of year.
Yeah.
Everybody had COVID 2 weeks ago, so we had a round of COVID.
My mom is.
What's that?
I don't even know where my mom is. When I passed by her house, her car was gone. I said, "Where in the world is she?" It's Sunday night. I guess they're down at the church. I don't know.
There you go. Probably got a big project going on or something on that. So tonight, Doug and I are going to talk about our inner circle, your inner circle, people that are on this call, everybody's inner circle of what we have there. So I'm excited that this is the subject tonight because this is something dear to my heart. This is something that I have built my business on. My wife has built her business on as far as in the real estate, being a realtor, listing houses, working with buyers to help them find houses. This is how we advertise. This is where we go to find our clients, is going through our inner circle of people that we have in contact. So Doug and I are going to talk about that tonight. And we're like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited that we have this. And you kind of look at it and say, why do we work with our inner circle? Doug,
it's a lifestyle marketing. You use your lifestyle to do your marketing. It just makes sense. The cheapest and by far the best marketing is word of mouth. So if you meet somebody, you need to let them know what you do. We talk about that all the time.
Absolutely. So, it is the best way to advertise, the best way to get clients, all the way around. So
and it works.
It works. And kind of, why do we work our inner circle? What do we see others do all the time? Just something real quick is we see people working really hard to get a client, but they never really build a friendship and they never keep in touch. So when this person needs to sell or whatever, they just never think about them because that relationship wasn't there. So I know that Doug and Renee and Linda Jean and I and all the others that are involved in Impact, we all work hard to build that relationship with everybody that we work with, because they know that we're the shell answer guys, right? We're the shell answer men. In other words, you can call Doug up. Who do you know that does this? And Doug's going to know anybody in East Texas that does whatever, whether it's financing or, I got calls today from some past students, and they were like, okay, we bought some land. We're thinking about doing something with this land. What are your ideas? What do you have here? So, well, here's a builder that builds starter homes. Would probably be a good candidate to talk to about partnering with them. Here's a builder that builds barn dominiums. John, here's John's information on that, and talk to John about it. And so that's why we build these relationships. We know hundreds of people, probably between Doug and I, we know thousands and thousands of people in this business that we reach out to.
Well, and it's not just in this business. It's people that you already know. And, you know, if someone's your friend, they're more likely to do you a favor. You can ask them, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you just keep an eye out for houses if you know of anybody that is buying or selling. And you know, I tell everybody whenever they ask me what I do, I tell them I'm a real estate investor. Now they don't hear that. They hear that I'm a realtor, I'm a real estate broker, or I'm something like that. That's what they're thinking in their mind. And I don't really care what they're thinking in their mind. I just want them to call me first.
Absolutely.
If it turns out they need a realtor, I'll send them to a realtor.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Doug, tell us about this slide.
Well, so Jim Rohn said you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And we tell our children this. Our parents told us this. Look, if you hang out with these people, you're going to do this. If you hang out with these people, you know, you're going to have a better life. So don't hang out with the people that you don't want to be alike, because it's going to rub off on you. And it's true. Every single word that your parents told you is true. So believe it. But yes, you spend the time with the people that are going to get you to where you want to be. So if I want to know more about subject 2, I'm going to spend time with Roger. If Roger wants to know how to set a toilet, he's probably going to call me, but probably not. I don't know. I mean, I've set a lot of toilets.
There you go. There you go. There's some tricks in the trades for that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, to make them done right, make it done right. But you know, with the two of us being active in the real estate investing community, you know, our partner in this business, Dennis Henson, he tells people all the time, if you need to know somebody, if you need to have connections, talk to the person leading the groups, talk to that group leader in your local community, in that area. And because they already know everybody. And if they don't know everybody, they know somebody that does. You know, so it's really simple how that works. And why do we know everybody? Why does Doug know everybody? Why does Roger know everybody? It's because we both work really, really hard to build those relationships. And we build those connections with the people that we meet. And you know, I think we all want to be friends, and we want to have friends too. You know, that's the goal in life, is never be in that position that one day when we do pass on, that people aren't going to care, that people aren't going to show up. People aren't going to say, wow, you know what? I really got something out of knowing that person, that person was on this planet, instead of, you know, being that person that bitter old lady or bitter old man that get off my lawn, kid, you know. And you know, sure there might be times that we get frustrated at you know, at things, but at the same time, if you're not known as that negative person, that person that's always gloom and doom, it's end of the world, you know, the whiner or whatever it may be, people are gonna pick up the phone and call you. So you know, I got 2 calls last week from people wanting to move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area from out of state that I've built relationships with. And I'm not saying they're wanting to move here because of me. I'm saying there's an opportunity in Dallas-Fort Worth, and they know somebody that's already in that area. So that's some of the best compliments that I think any of us can get on that is knowing, is people knowing that they know us. They can pick up the phone and they call Doug, or they can call me, or call anybody else that runs an REI group, and say, hey, I'm wanting to move into your area. Do you have any suggestions on what areas I need to, you know, I might want to move to? You know, and that's where, you know, Doug and I both will ask questions like, you know, you got kids in school? Because school is going to be important. What about your faith? What denomination of religion are you? You might want to be close to where you're building that relationship with with other people in your denomination of your faith. And so yeah, it just and Doug and I both started, before Impact, we both started our groups, and we didn't start it for money, did we, Doug?
No.
We started it because we wanted to build those relationships.
Well, I wanted to know who was doing what. I mean, I moved from Dallas, where I had been attending Dennis's group, and that was like, it was always something going on there, to Longview, where there was like 5 guys meeting at a Denny's off the interstate over here. And so that's where I went. He told me that you need to find a real estate group to be a part of. And that's the first thing I did. So one day the guy that was running the meetup stood up and said, "Guys, I got to leave. I can't do this anymore. Does anybody want to take this over?" And I thought to myself, well, I don't really want to take this over, but if it's going to mean it's going to end, then yeah, I'll take it over. And so it just started from that. Never dreamed that I would have my own real estate investors group ever. That was not, well, I didn't even dream that I was going to be a real estate investor in the beginning. So, God just does things. He moves me in these ways. He gets me prepared to do the things that I need to do, and I just do them, and it works. So
absolutely. We got somebody on the call tonight that I'm looking over in the list here, and Brandon Florence. Met him. An investor I was talking to was having a house that was being rehabbed, and went over there and I met Brandon, and all of a sudden it was like, man, this connection is just wonderful. I've got this great connection here. We got talking. I realized this guy's sharp. This guy knows what he's doing. And at the time he was working for somebody else. He now runs his own business. And through those connections, I know Brandon's got some business. He's helped a lot of the investors out in both the Longview and the Tyler area. He's now, I think he's working on a barndominium type deal, where he's partnering with John, doing some finish out on some barndominiums. I got him in contact with a past client yesterday, I think it was, or she should be calling him. We talked about it earlier in this call, where she's bought some land, trying to figure out what her exit strategy is going to be on that land, how the best way to work with that. And so, there's lots of great ways. And this, like I said, this is why we do this, is to build our inner circle. Somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, I need a good contractor. I need somebody that can pretty much do it all. And if he can't, he's going to know people that can." And he's been very connected to our groups for the last probably better part of a year now. And
2 years probably.
Maybe 2 years, yeah. So very excited that's what we do in this business. So back when Doug and I were kids, if you needed something, you opened the Yellow Pages. We don't do that anymore. And there was no relationship there. There was no relationship when we're building those, when we're opening that phone book up and saying, okay, we need a plumber. Let's start at the A's and let's see if we see a name in there that not necessarily that we recognize, but let's see if we see a name in there that we can connect with, but we don't have that anymore. But our gift that we give as REI leaders is to be able to go out and tell people, hey, you know what? We do have a good contractor. We do have a good plumber. Oh, you need a title company? Let me tell you who we use. You need financing. What kind of financing you're looking for? Let me give you a couple of names here. And that's what your inner circle is all about. That's
That's right.
that's why we build that. So, like I said, it's just but the REI groups is where you're going to build that, is where you're going to have that. As a matter of fact, this leading into that or running into that, tomorrow night, Doug, you've got
tomorrow night. I've got
here.
It's the tax sale guy, Arnie Abramson. It's going to be a huge meeting. There's going to be a lot of people there, and you don't only just need to hear what Arnie has to say, but you need to meet those people and make your connections. Get your card in my hands. I keep them all. I've got them all lined up there in case I need something. The meeting tomorrow night is networking's at 6:30, and we're going to be talking about tax sales. And I've made a lot of money on tax sales. I'm telling you, I probably made $10,000 since August buying tax sales for Arnie, and it's just another stream of income for me. And we're looking for help, looking for boots on the ground. So I'll get over there. But meeting the people that you need to know at the meeting, eyeball to eyeball, so that you know who you're talking to when you pick up the phone to call them later. I'm actually selling a property wholesale to one of our members, some of the people that go to our meetings. So that's where I find buyers. And you don't know, you may meet a wholesaler there. So you're going to find properties. You need to be out there looking. And if you're not looking, you're not finding.
And you're going to build your education, because now you're going to be connected with somebody. You might not ever want to do tax sales in your life, but
right.
Maybe something falls in your lap one day and you're going to go, you know what? I do know a little bit about that, but you know what? I have an inner circle here. I can reach out and call Doug, or, I can reach out to Arnie, whatever it may be. And that is just priceless for those of us that are in business. Okay. I was at I'm in a real estate investor group. We have a little luncheon every once in a while in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And one of the guys in that luncheon one day, we were talking to him, and I said, well, how much real estate do you hold? And here's this guy in a pair of shorts and a golfing shirt and a pair of tennis shoes with these little short socks on, and a baseball cap. And he manages real estate. He owns and manages essentially warehouses all over the country. And I said, how big is your portfolio? How much are you managing? And he says, well, right now we're at $31 billion with a B, $31 billion of managing. And I'm like, in my mind, holy cow, this guy is just gigantic. And he owns a company, and you would never guess it. When we were leaving, he was driving away in his pickup truck. He wasn't driving wasn't driving a Mercedes or whatever. Even if he was, that was okay. But he didn't look the part of somebody that had $31 billion worth of real estate. And he started dropping some names of people that while he's in the meeting, he says, we needed this, and it's one of the people running for president. It wasn't Trump, but it was somebody else that you hear on the news all the time. And he said, well, that particular person's on our board of directors, and I needed some information because we're doing some stuff in the eastern part of the United States, and I needed some information with that individual. And I thought, that is just awesome to know that here's this person that I'm meeting today, and on his board of directors is this person that's actually running for president of the United States, and very well known, very well connected politically, has been connected for years politically, and just an incredible opportunity there, incredible opportunity. So once again, it's our inner circle. most of us think that our inner circle are people that we see every day. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's people that we see every once in a while. I went out and looked at some investment houses today with two different clients, and one of them is a young couple, and they're wanting to get their first deal, look at their first property, and we went and looked at a distressed property today, and there's some potential with that. And then the other one we went and looked at I think 7 properties today, and we'll look at some more tomorrow. But it's the first one, the young couple, we haven't heard from them in about 3 years. My wife sold them a house. They decided, hey, we want to get into investment real estate. Who do we call? We're going to call the person that does investment real estate. Well, that person that they knew is me. So they reached out to Linda Jean and got a hold of me. And then the other gentleman, he's been a great friend of mine. He's been doing investments. I've known him for more than 20 years, and he's been doing investments on and off. He's had some challenges in life through some not personal illnesses, but family illnesses and stuff. And so we were able to we connected a couple of weeks ago and talked about it. And we went and looked at a bunch of houses today. And I think we're going to be putting some offers in tomorrow. And I'm going to be meeting him tomorrow at a couple other houses that we couldn't get to today. Because you never look at a property after dark, just to let everybody know, right, Doug? We never look at property after dark because we go back the next day to stop the same property.
No. You need a big flashlight.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work as good as we hope it will. So I've got this slide up here right now regarding Facebook, social media. It's a big thing right now. But does social media take the place of that personal relationship? It's an easy way to reach out to people. It's an easy way to reach out and grab people, but it really doesn't take the place of the relationships that we build when we go to our church, relationships that we build when we go to our social events, whether it's something like Rotary or Lions or Toastmasters. Or just the lunch group, the group I was talking about a while ago, where I met the gentleman that has that large holding of real estate. It's a group that we meet in Fort Worth, and it's called Circle the Wagons. And we just, all us business people, most of us, we just get together and we have lunch. We pick a local restaurant. It started during COVID when we wanted to really support that local restaurant, that local owner of the local restaurant. Not a chain, we're not going to Cracker Barrel or Chili's. We're going to the mom and pop restaurant, and he or she or they may only own 1 or 2 restaurants, but it really gets us out there. There's a lot of restaurants out there we've never heard of, and we go and we eat at these restaurants. It's like, wow, this is great. And then we'll always support the veterans. We normally have a veteran there that's a guest. And we'll pitch in and make sure their lunch is covered. But it's a great way to build those relationships, that social media that we're doing, that we're building up on that basis. So, but yeah.
Well, with me, I think that probably the last 2 or 3 big deals that I did, I got from church. Just people at church, they stopped me in the hall. Hey, I need to sell my house, or I want to get out of this thing. There's been many times. Well, I worked one that was the lady's husband got ill. And they had to move to Dallas. They got an apartment in Dallas, left their house here. And so we're, talking to them, praying for them, going and checking on the house. And eventually he passed away. And by that time, she had, no connection with the house. And sort of. I mean, she wanted to get all of her stuff out of it, but it was in pretty bad shape. but we wholesaled that house and made $12,000, helped her move. And that was a 5-year process. So it's something that just, you just keep working the angle, you keep working it. And it's really not working an angle, it's helping somebody out. They finally got to the place that they were ready. So I find a lot of deals at church.
Yeah, churches. Because people you have that common relationship. You've got that common interest that you have with them. And
if you do them right, they'll trust you, and then the next one will trust you, and the next one, and they hear how things are going. Don't be fooled. They're gonna know if you treated them right or treated them dirty. So
absolutely. So, we were talking about social media just now too, and there is a place for that. But once again, like Doug mentioned, that relationship wouldn't have been built on Facebook, on sending a meme or liking something. That relationship was built because you were in front of her and you were there to solve a problem. She had a problem. You had a solution. It was a 5-year relationship, but you made it work. You made that happen. Right. So when you go to properties, what I do is, if you're going to a property, take a selfie in front of the property, post that on your Facebook. Hey, I'm at this property right now. You won't believe this thing. There's crime tape here. There's a chalk outline where the body was. Whatever it may be, or you won't believe somebody how they did this remodel job. Let me take a picture of that. The toilet's in the closet. Who does that? It's hanging. The toilet's underneath the clothes in the closet. And it's really mounted there. So Doug and I, we could sit here for hours and talk about some of the crazy things that we've seen in property.
I walked in one the other day, and it still had fuses instead of breakers. Fuses.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
Wow. And that's and you got to buy some really big bullets for that. It's not like the 22 bullets we used to put in our pickup trucks. We had a fuse blow when we're at the lake and we needed lights to go home. But yeah, you want to show people what you're doing. You want to, you're not going to throw up all over them. You're going to say, hey, this is a cool deal that we've done. Let me post this. Now, we're talking about Brandon Florence while ago on the call. He is such a master at putting things on the internet and then sharing things from other contractors that he does business with and saying, hey, here's somebody here that does something that might bring value to you. I'm going to post that online because they do this that I don't do. They do a great job at that. And that's, like I said, that's part of the value of any of us in any of our businesses is having that relationship and being out there. And like I said, you just want to, you want to use social media to your advantage, but don't think you can build your relationships all on social media. It's a fun thing to stay connected. It's an easy thing to do. You can jump on there at 3 a.m. if you want to do that, make comments. It's not like you're calling somebody at 3 a.m. and waking them up. That's not how you build relationships. You don't build relationships calling somebody at 3 a.m. So
text them at 3 a.m.
Yeah, text them at 3 a.m. So, and then, once again, the REI groups are just critical for you to build your business. And once again, tomorrow night, Longview at the Big Red Barn, 6:30 networking, going to be tax sales. And then Tuesday night, I'm having a meeting in Lindale, right outside of Tyler, and it's going to be on short-term rentals. It's going to be on Airbnbs, and we're going to talk about that. One of the fastest growing areas in our business. But let me jump back to tax sales. Arnie will probably tell you tomorrow night, but he told me that in December in Tarrant County, that foreclosures were up 17% over November. And I haven't heard what they are in January. I don't even know if those numbers probably aren't out yet. But these are two areas of the market that anybody on this call needs to be involved in. You need to know what's going on with tax sales, because that's going to tell you what's going on in foreclosures and where people are at. And we don't always wait till the property goes into foreclosure to take action on. We want to catch them before they get into a bad position.
Yeah.
What's that, Doug?
No, I listen, when I go in there, if I can get a hold of the owner, I tell them, look, we want to help you out. I mean, I do everything I can to help them out. If they don't want to lose their house, they're gonna need to do something.
Absolutely. So this right here is something that Brandon just put on. Sorry, I'm covering up your face there, Doug, but so collaboration has gotten us places. There you go. Collaboration has gotten us places that he couldn't have gotten. He couldn't have gotten there. It always comes back. What you put out is what you get back most of the time, or often. And I'm going to say you're going to get it back 90% of the time. When you work with somebody and you're putting the effort in to work with them, you're always going to get that back. You're always going to get that connection back, that reward back, and I have, in my life, I have met so many interesting people. I've got a story on everything because I talk to people and I want to learn about them. And I knew a guy that had breakfast with John F. Kennedy the morning that John F. Kennedy was assassinated, but just before that had dinner with Lee Harvey Oswald the night before. Okay. And it was totally unrelated. It wasn't politic related. It just happened to fall into place that way, and if that would have happened today, it would have been such a scandal, but it wasn't a scandal because there was nothing devious about it. But it's a great story. If you're ever talking to me, I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you what happened. But,
wow.
Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, wow.
Yeah. So it's a great story, and like I said, some of the people that I've met, I know people that have, I know people that knew 3 of the top 5 serial killers in the United States, and unrelated to, they weren't killed. They weren't, kidnapped or anything like that. It just falls into place. And I wouldn't have known that if we haven't built that relationship. Wow. There are tons of stories out there that anybody on this call has missed because they didn't build a relationship with somebody. They didn't go out there and learn the background of people. And what their parents did, what their grandparents did, what their siblings did, what their kids have done, whatever it may be. We just have not taken the time to build those relationships. I learned a valuable lesson many years ago. I had a gentleman come to my office that just would show up a couple of times a year, 2 or 3 times a year, just wanted to talk. He enjoyed coming to my office. He was retired, and I had something going on that day. It probably wasn't even important, but I had to tell my secretary, I don't have time to talk to Gordon today. I'll tell him I'll catch up with him later. I've got this project I'm working on. Well, Gordon passed away that afternoon, and I'll never have a repeat of that. I'll never have that opportunity to, and he had some incredible stories. He was like 4th generation Fort Worth, very well known. His whole family's very well known in Fort Worth, and has a whole library on his family at UTA in Arlington. And he was a photographer. He came from a photographer background. And I look back at that, and I have no idea what that important project was that day, but I missed out. And I'll never get that opportunity again to ever get that back. So build those relationships. Talk to anybody who's going to have a story for you. I do a little bit of work down at the Mission in Fort Worth. I was down there one day, and this guy work in the kitchen. He'd been there. I've seen him a couple of times before, but he had his face was almost solid tattoos, and I want to get to know everybody. So I'm talking to him, and my first word when I'm meeting somebody, normally my first sentence or first couple of sentences somewhere in there is going to be, "Hey, where are you from?" Because most of us are transplants. Most of us haven't lived in the same house all of our life. There's few people that have, and that's interesting too. But he told me he was from wherever, I think Atlanta, Georgia, or somewhere like that. And I said, "Well, what brought you here?" Meaning, what brought you to Fort Worth? And he kind of points at his face with the tattoos, and he says, "Well, I make really bad decisions. That's why I'm here." And I just laughed, and he was a great guy, and he that's not what I intended. I didn't intend to ask him why he was at the mission. I want to know why he was in Fort Worth. Do you have family in Fort Worth? Are you originally from Fort Worth? Have you ever lived here? Whatever it may be. And that's just one of the many stories that are out there that we learn from others. And, there's so many great things to know, and you're going to learn them. You're going to learn them tomorrow night if you go to Longview. You're going to learn them Tuesday night if you go to the Lindale meeting, which is going to be at Brisket Love. And you can find any of these on our website, realimpacttraining.com. You can just go to locations and see where our meetings are at, meetup.com. But if you're in another town, if you're in another city, if you're in another state, or if you're in another country, you want to be connected to your local real estate group. You want to go to those meetings. You want to meet the people that are running those meetings, support the people that are running those meetings. They have sponsors, work with their sponsors. You got people in there like Brandon, like we were talking about a while ago, that can help you when you need that job done. And you want to look at look at what they're doing, and look at if you want to know something about how to do something in business, find the person that is the most successful person in that industry, in that business, and get to know them. Like Doug said at the beginning of this call, you are the worth of the 5 people that you're hanging out with. And that is so true. And I'm not saying don't hang out with the guy at the mission, that's okay. And I've never met anybody in my life I didn't learn something from. You may learn something you don't want to do, but I've never met anybody you haven't learned something from. But you want to make sure that you're connected. You want to make sure that you're building that network of people, and how to go out there to build your inner circle, as we started this call with today. And
so if you think that for some reason you don't have an inner circle, or you don't have enough friends, or you don't know anybody, you have a family, do you have a mother? I'm thinking everybody has a mother. Well, my mom is really one of the biggest ways that I find deals. She knows people in East Texas that you don't know, and she'll drop names. It's like, who is she talking about? I don't know who that is, but yes, I want to help them find a house, or my brother. I've known my brother all his life. And he works for the telephone company. So he's on a ladder most every day looking around Longview, and he sees this empty house. He gets me the address, or he sees a for sale by owner sign. He gets me the number. I get help from everybody because they know what I do. And if they don't know what you do, or if you don't tell them what you do, if you've decided, well, I'm going to be a real estate investor now, your family needs to know about it. Your friends need to know about it. The people that you see all the time need to know about it. If you don't see people all the time, start going to church. They're not going to kick you out. My church won't anyway,
That's it. That's it.
You have to work with people. You need to know how to talk to people. I'm horrible at talking to people. I would rather just sit on the sides watching everybody going forth to and fro, but I have to get in there. I gotta start asking questions. And so I have a thing that I remember. It's called FORM. It's an acrostic, FORM, FORM. And if I can remember those 4 letters, I can talk to you. And basically I ask them, who's your family? Do you have a family? Are you married? You got any kids? Ask them about their family. Then you ask them about their occupation. What do you do? If you ask them what they do, they're going to ask you what you do eventually. And then ask them about recreation, and get them to tell you about their fishing habits, how they like to hunt, or whatever it is they like to do. Ask them about that. If they are talking, that's what you want. You want them talking, because pretty soon they're going to think you're the most amazing conversationalist, because you're asking them to talk about them. And that's the most important thing that they want to know about is them. So, and then you can get around to the M, the message or the money or whatever it is that you're going to be talking to them about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I've got this slide up here, but I love this slide because it's 3 priceless things in life: trust, loyalty, and respect. And that's exactly what Doug just said with the acronym out there of FORM. Is you're building that trust, you're building some loyalty, and you're building that respect, because you're asking them about themselves, and they respect that. And they, you're not going in there just bragging about yourself. You're not going in there to talk about how great you are. It's what they bring to the conversation. And then somewhere in there, it's going to come around what you do and what you're going to do to help them eventually, or whatever it may be. So I love that. And then, so we see investors every single day that are out there that are just throwing money out the window with trying to advertise without connecting with other people, without building a relationship. Okay. I was one of the houses we looked at today. There's a slab leak in the floor, and there's water coming up in the living room. It's a vacant house, and it's not a good thing. And it's not a pier and beam. It's a slab, and there's water coming up. I called the realtor, and her message on her recorder said, on her voicemail says, I will check my messages on Monday. I do not work on Saturdays and Sundays. So please leave me a message and I will react to it when, or I don't know her exact words, but here we are, has wood floors in the house, and those are already starting to get messed up. Water's coming up out of the floor. It's not a huge amount of water. It's a very small amount, but it's squishy, and water, came up around our feet when, or came up, on the surfaced when we walked on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not so good for that seller. Well, she obviously checked her voicemail, because about an hour later, she sends me a text and said, thank you so much. My husband and I are on our way over there right now to turn off that water. Wow. And I'm like, that is so valuable that she's going to do that. That she did actually check her voicemail. But in this business, we don't really take weekends off. We take time off for our family. We take time off for our social life of going to church, or going to do other things, deliver Meals on Wheels or whatever it may be. But and build that relationship with our inner circle. So, but we see investors all the time that are sitting in, I say sitting in their basement. We don't have a lot of basements in Texas, but sitting in their office, sitting in their little closed off area, buying a list, looking on the internet, trying to find leads, trying to figure out how to market on the internet. And all that has a place, but nothing takes the place of building that inner circle. Yeah. Of working that occupational relationship. Like Doug was saying a while ago about working with that lady for 5 years to get her problem solved. With doing that, Doug and Renee made a little bit of money, but they helped her and helped the person that wind up buying that house, and somebody's going to be living in that house. You probably already are. That's really that really loves living in that house. Really has a great place to live. So if you're going to spend your money on stuff, it's fine to buy your list. It's fine to do, but you want to spend your money on building those relationships with people that and like Doug was saying a while ago, it's where you're going to go. It's where you're going to connect. It's learning what they do. What church they go to. They fish. Do they fish? Do they hunt? Are they watching a ball game? Are the kids in Little League or Pee Wee or mother-daughter or father-daughter dances, whatever it is, you want to get to know that, and you want to get to know what their passion is in life, and hopefully a little bit of their passion they have is connects with a little bit of passion that you have, and you can talk about it, and you can talk about what wonderful things that our fellow congregation is doing in church. Maybe they're supporting a mission. Maybe it's doing something local or whatever it may be. But it's a great opportunity to go out there and build those relationships and find something that's in common that you're doing with those people. So, and then building your inner circle is to me, once again, the best way to build your business. And you're working with people who want to work with you. That's the key. You're not working with somebody so you're like, yeah, I think I need to go wash my hands after talking to them because I don't like being around them. So, yeah.
Well, and it's easy. It's not hard. My personality is not one to just go out there and gush all over somebody. But I can ask questions. So for me, that's easy. I thought it was hard before.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, but like I said, it's a best way in the world to work with people. And this is why we enjoy what we're doing. If you enjoy the job you have, you never have to work a day in your life because you're enjoying. It's not work. You're getting a benefit from it. You're making that happen. And, we have the people out there that we enjoy being with. We have fun with. We can tell stories to each other. Maybe even find a connection out there that we didn't know we had. The world is a small place. Kind of started out with some dude out there named Adam, and he wound up with some gal named Eve, and we're all connected somewhere or another, some way through that. And we all have, it's fun to watch these people that do Ancestry.com, and they go, well, I had no idea that I was, 3% this and 5% that and 8%. I always thought I was 100% over here. And none of us are 100%. I don't know if there's anybody on earth that is 100% of one culture. So Doug and I, we kind of hope that this gives you some ideas on ways to help build your business. There's dozens and dozens, hundreds of ways to find sellers out there. And we just think that the inner circle is the easiest way to go out, number one, and sometimes the fastest way to build your business. And, friends are always a whole lot easier to work with, and friends of friends than people that just have no connection to you whatsoever. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. Sometimes we don't know who our friends of friends are, but we have a friend. We have somebody in common. If they're a friend of that person, I know they're probably a good person. And right. I know that, if I meet somebody that is a friend with Doug and Renee, I know that they're going to be class A, number one people. And we're going to have similar beliefs. We're going to have similar goals in life. And it's all just going to work out the way it needs to work out. And that's what we do on our inner circle. Right, Doug?
That's right. Yep. No, it's people are people, and we find our deals by talking to people. We find our money by talking to people. You don't get anything by staying at home and working on the computer. I mean, that's something you may have to do from time to time, but you got to get out there. You got to put yourself in the middle of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Positively. So we appreciate y'all, anybody on this call and anybody listening to the replay. We really appreciate y'all being here tonight. This is being recorded on January 7th of 2024. Tomorrow night, Longview, Texas, Big Red Barn. You can find us on meetup.com. You can find us on, let me see if I can find the banner here. You can find us on Real Impact Training. There we go. realimpacttraining.com. You can go in, you can look at our locations. You can get our contact if you want to call, get a hold of Doug. Doug and Renee's phone numbers on there, their emails on there. Same thing with myself, and all the other on the bottom of this video has been playing all the way through all the different locations that we have. So you want to connect with a local REI group, and even if it's not an impact group, you want to connect. You want to build that relationship. You want to build your inner circle, and that will help build your net worth when you build your network, as they say.
That's right.
So excited everybody's on here tonight. So tomorrow night, Longview, Texas, Big Red Barn. Tuesday night, Lindale, Texas, Lindale, Tyler area. We're going to be talking about short-term rentals. Tanya's on the call tonight on the comment area. Thank you so much for being on here, Tanya. And Tanya, I'm sorry. I always call you Tanya. It's Tanya. So we're excited that you're going to be there Tuesday night in Lindale, Tyler, talking about short-term rentals. Once again, these are the two top biggest subjects that we have right now going is one, tax sales and foreclosures. But tax sales, really a big subject right now, a great way to build some equity in a property, and they're and Doug and Arnie have a great program for that. And then Tanya, we're gonna talk about short-term rentals, which is the fastest growing aspect for investment real estate there is right now, is short-term rentals. And if you're not knowledgeable about that, if you don't know how to do that, you need to be there on either one of those two subjects. You need to be there. It is Tanya. I'm sorry. We're going to make this happen. So Monday night, 6:30, Longview, Texas. Tuesday night, 6:30, Lindale, Tyler area. And we're going to have some great programs for you. Great. There are going to be some refreshments in Longview, and then in Tyler, Lindale, we meet at the Brisket Love, and they have incredible food there for you to support them. And we look forward to having everybody there. So, Doug, thank you so much for being on here tonight.
Thank you.
Making this happen. And we're getting started in the new year, so we'll be back. We have this call every the first and third Sunday nights of the month. So we hope to see you back in a couple of weeks. So good deal. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. And thank you, Karen, for the background support. Thank you, Karen.